So yeah, hello everyone. So today we are gonna learn about tuples in Python. So tuples are like lists only, but they um, are immutable. So when we create a list in Python, we can add any element. For example, let's say this is a list, okay, and it has one, two, three, four, five. This five elements in the list. And we can perform the operation like list dot append. All right, and let's say we append 6 in our list. All right, so we can perform this operation in a list, and then if we just write print list, and if we just run this code will run fine. All right, but in a tuple, uh, if we uh, do an append operation, it won't work. So tuple is a tuples are like lists only, but they're immutable. Once you create a tuple, you cannot add any element to the tuple. So speaking of the syntax of creating a tuple, the syntax is parentheses. Okay, these curved parentheses or bracket, see what you call them, and then in those bracket you have your elements. So for example, this is a tuple. So let's create a tuple. So tuple, if I just named it as, for example, num is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then if you just put a print num, then let's see if we can print the tuple. Let's just see. This is a tuple. So now if I just do an operation, like there's no append method, so you cannot append anything in a tuple. Okay, you cannot do this thing in a tuple. All right, you cannot. See, it's throwing an error. And if I just try to run this code, it is not going to, it doesn't have any attributes, so you cannot add any element to a tuple. But 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 there is one thing which you can do. You can convert a tuple to a list and vice versa. All right, so you can convert a tuple to a list and vice versa. So for example, you can just write list num. All right, and this tuple will be converted to list. So if I just write here num1 is equal to num, and if I just run this code will run fine. All right, and if I just print, if I now do num1 dot append, let's say 5, will this code run? Yeah, of course it will run, because now uh, this tuple is converted to a list. All right, so if I just print num1, it will be printed to C. It is a list now. And now if I convert this list to tuple, so if I just say num2 is equal to tuple num1 and then print num2, sorry, yeah, print num2, this code will run fine because this is allowed. You can convert a tuple to list and list to tuple. All right. So yeah, these are some of the basics. So if you just see the syntax, it's the syntax of a list is, if I just have to create a list, num is equal to bracket 1, 2, 3, 4. This is syntax for what? It's a syntax for list. Okay, and this syntax for tuple you have brackets. All right. Now these were some of the basics of tuples. Uh, Speaking of the accessing of elements of a tuple. So for example, if you want to access any element of a particular tuple, you can use the indexing. So for example, let's say I have tuple num, and I have to access first element. So I will just write print num 0. Sorry, print num 0. All right, and yeah, so you can print this one. If I want to access the second element, then I will just print num of 1. Then what will be the output? the output will be 2. All right, get me down. Now, uh, these are some of, now if you can also do slicing. Okay, so slicing, for example, 0 and 3, or I mean 0 to 2. Sorry, 0 to 2, let's say. Let's slice. So what will be the output? 1 comma 2. Okay, because 0 1, this 2 is excluded. So it will print index 0 and index 1. So this operation which we have in lists in Python, it is supported in tuples as well. Okay, so yeah, now let's explore unpacking in tuple. Okay, this is a very unique operation that is performed in tuple, um, uh, that is unpacking. For example, let's forget about this code. Okay, let's forget. Now, if we have a tuple named student, let's say I create a tuple named student, and it has, let's say, roll number is 1 2 3 4. Then it has subject, let's say, for example, let's say mathematics is a subject, and we have marks. So marks are like 50. Okay, so this is tuple is created. Okay, so if I just say print student, it will print this thing. All right. Now, if someone says unpack this tuple, so unpacking is an operation used to destructure the elements of a tuple. So I'll show you. Don't get confused by the terms. Okay, I'll write roll number, comma, subject, comma, marks is equal to student, and then I'll print. Okay, print roll number, subject, and marks. See, this operation is called as unpacking, packing and unpacking of a tuple. So I'll just write packing and unpacking of a tuple. Okay, so this is a very important operation which you will use in a lot of projects, or various steps when you are going to create program in Python. There is an inbuilt method in tuple which is known as count. So count is an inbuilt method in tuple, um, which is used, I guess, sometimes. So you can, for example, if we have tuple as nums, okay, and 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, okay, and if I just say print count of, um, let's say 2, nums dot count 2. So what will be the answer? 4, because 2 appears 4 times. So it will count the occurrences of 2 in this particular tuple num. So this is a very um, straightforward method, I can say, in tuples. Now, these were some of the basic things of tuple. So yeah, now we will do a small exercise, okay, in tuple. And the exercise is, um, create a tuple with numbers and print the first and last element in the tuple. Okay, and yeah, that's a very simple exercise we will do. Okay, so the exercise is, create a tuple first of all and print the first and last element. Okay, so let's create the tuple known as students or marks. Okay, marks. Let's say 10, 34, 55, 59, 100, 34, 40, 54, 25. All right. Now, what is the first element? How are we going to print the first element? It's very simple. Print marks of 0. Yeah. And how are we going to print the last element? Or are you going to print the last element? Yeah. How are you going to print the last element in tuple? print marks of 0 and print marks of -1. All right, these are very simple and straightforward examples. Oh, sorry. Yeah. What is the issue? Unexpected. I didn't. Let me just remove these things. Sorry. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. First element is 10 and last element 23. So this is like the slicing operation which we have done in the tuple. All right. So these are some of the basic things of tuples. Now, what are the advantages of tuples? That is very important because why are we learning tuple? The advantage of tuple is that tuples are faster than lists. All right. So I will give you an exercise. You do it in when you're free. Use the method, use the library, time it. Okay, time it, and try to create a tuple of random numbers of 10 raised to, let's say 10 raised to 8 or 10 raised to 7. These you create these many numbers. You use a list and you use a tuple, and see how fast tuple works when it compares to um, such kind of big operations. Okay, so tuples are faster than lists. Okay, so that is one of the advantage. Okay, faster than lists. Second advantage is we can use it for fixed data because tuples are immutable. Okay, so we can use them for fixed data. Okay, which you cannot change. For example, coordinates, coordinates, coordinates. All right. Now the third advantage is um, we can use them for keys. Since they're immutable, we can use them for keys in dictionaries. Okay, dictionaries. So yeah, we can use them for keys in dictionaries. But what are dictionaries that we are going to learn in the next video? That what are dictionaries? Um, and yeah, that we are going to learn in next video. The dictionaries are like key value pairs only, but yeah, that's something for the next part. So these are some of the basics things in tuple and the differences between a list and a tuple. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe the channel. It is really helpful for us to create quality content. All right, yeah, so thank you for your time and attention. Bye bye.